A woman who understands her emotions does not chase his attention. She awakens his soul. Have you ever wondered why some women walk into a man's life and change everything? Not with loud words, not with games, but with quiet strength, with peace, with presence. She doesn't beg. She doesn't push. She simply exists in a way that makes him feel seen, safe, understood, and suddenly, nothing feels the same to him anymore. He may have met many, but her. She touches something deeper. Because a woman who knows herself, who has walked through her storms and stayed standing, does not come to love in pieces. She comes whole. And that kind of woman. She doesn't just win a man's attention, she captures his soul. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. And when a woman truly knows that, when she stops needing to be chosen and starts choosing herself first, everything shifts. He sees it, he feels it. He might not be able to explain it, but he can't forget it either. Think of water. Calm, still, deep water. It doesn't chase, it doesn't force. But when you fall into it, it surrounds you. It moves with power and peace. That's what she becomes to him. Not noise, not chaos, but something steady, something real, something unforgettable. In love, many try to be loud, to be seen, to be the most impressive. But an emotionally mature woman, she doesn't perform, she doesn't pretend, she listens, she understands, she feels deeply, but she never loses herself. And that balance, it shakes him. Because he's not just attracted to her, he's drawn in. His soul recognizes something rare. And maybe right now you don't feel like that woman. Maybe your heart is tired. Maybe your spirit is quiet. But let me tell you something, this is not your weakness. This is the beginning of your rise. You are not broken. You are becoming. And the moment you stop begging for love and start walking like the crown was always yours, you begin to live as the woman no man can forget. The woman who reigns. The woman who captures his soul. The queen. If these words spoke to your heart, if they reminded you of the power that still lives inside you, then let us keep walking this path together. Like this video and subscribe to the channel because we are working with everything we have to create content that heals you, lifts you, and helps you become the woman you were always meant to be. Number 1. She doesn't chase. She becomes the flame he can't stay away from. He thought you would run after him, didn't he? He expected you to reach out first, to explain yourself, to ask where things went wrong. He thought you'd fall into the same cycle, chasing him while he kept pulling away. But something shifted. You stopped. Not because you didn't care, but because you finally understood. A woman who knows her value does not chase. She becomes the fire. And when a man has tasted that kind of warmth, that kind of soul-deep presence, he never forgets it. The fire that knows its worth does not flicker for attention. It simply burns. That's who you are becoming. The fire he can't stop feeling no matter how far he runs, the warmth he compares everything to. And what he doesn't realize yet is that you are not the woman who competes for space in his world. You are the woman who becomes the center of it without saying a word. Think of a flame in the middle of winter. Anyone can gather around it, but it doesn't beg people to stay. It doesn't scream to be noticed. It just burns, bright, quiet, unapologetic. And whoever walks away from it, they feel the cold, the emptiness, the void that no other flame can fill. That's what happens when you rise into emotional maturity. You don't chase love, you attract it by being love itself. He may not understand it now, but the day will come when he misses your energy. When he remembers how your presence made him feel grounded, alive, understood. He will think back to the way you smiled through the storms, how you stayed soft without becoming small. And that realization, that is where your power lives. not in his hands, in yours. Dear woman, your silence is power. Your presence is unforgettable. Your love is not ordinary. So let him walk if he must, because the flame he walked away from will become the fire that keeps him awake at night. You were never meant to chase. You were meant to reign. And queens, this is the moment you stop shrinking and start glowing. Write this in the comments and claim it. I am the flame he can't stay away from. Like this video and subscribe to the channel, Queens. We are working hard to bring you the truths that rebuild your power, the lessons that shift your soul, and the strength to rise exactly as you are, undeniable, unshaken, unforgettable. Number 2. She hears the words. He never says, and that haunts him. He didn't say much, he never does. But you knew, you always knew. His silence spoke louder than his words. The way he avoided eye contact when he was hurting, the way he pulled away when he needed you the most. He never had to say he was lost. His energy said it all. And you, with your emotional depth, heard every silent cry. You felt his fears. You saw the storm behind his smile. And that's what sets you apart. Because a man can meet 100 women, but the one who understands his soul without him having to explain, that woman haunts him forever. Not because she caused pain, but because she touched a part of him no one else ever reached. Seneca once said, "Sometimes even to live is an act of courage." And when a woman sees that quiet struggle in a man, when she doesn't just love the parts he shows, but stays tender with the parts he hides, she becomes unforgettable. She's no longer just a partner. She becomes a mirror to his soul, the one he didn't even know he needed. Think of a song only he can hear, a melody he didn't know was playing until she walked into his life and made the silence make sense. That's what emotional maturity looks like. It's not drama, it's not demand, it's depth. And once he feels it, he compares every future connection to her, and none come close. But right now, maybe your heart feels tired. Maybe you gave that kind of love, and he still walked away. Maybe you're questioning your worth because he didn't know how to hold it. Let me tell you something with fire in my voice. You were never the problem. You were simply the kind of woman who speaks in a language his soul wasn't ready to receive. You are not broken. You are the storm that woke his silence. And now it's time. Time to stop shrinking. Time to stop explaining. Time to live as the woman who doesn't just love hard, she loves real. That kind of woman, she reigns. Not because she's loud, but because her presence stays long after she's gone. Write this in the comments, queens, and claim it. My silence speaks louder than his denial. Let him feel the weight of what he lost. Let the world know you are no longer here to beg. You are here to rule. And if this truth touched something inside you, like this video and subscribe to the channel. We are working hard to bring you real, life-changing lessons, because this isn't just content. This is your crown. Number 3. She makes him work for what he took for granted before. He thought you'd always be there. He thought your love would keep pouring in, no matter how little he gave in return. He believed you would keep showing up, waiting, hoping, holding on. But now, for the first time, the ground beneath him feels cold, quiet, empty, because you're not standing in the same place anymore. You're not chasing, you're not pleading, you're rebuilding. And now, he has to work for the very thing he once assumed would never leave. He who takes gold for granted often learns its value only after it's buried beneath stone. That is where he is now, digging through his own regrets, realizing what he lost when he treated your love like it was ordinary. But it wasn't. You were never ordinary. Think of a garden. A garden doesn't bloom just because someone passes by. It takes time, patience, consistent care. You gave him that. You watered love. You pulled the weeds. You stood in the storms and still offered beauty. But he didn't tend to what mattered. He didn't see the effort behind your peace. He didn't see how rare it was to be loved by a woman who shows up emotionally whole, even when her own heart is tired. And now, that garden is closed. The gate is locked, not out of bitterness, but out of wisdom, because a woman who is emotionally mature knows her love is not a discount store. He doesn't get to return whenever it suits him. He has to earn it, and this time he will have to fight for what once came easy. He will have to show up fully, not halfway. He will have to love not just your body, but your spirit, your mind, your peace. Maybe you feel like that woman is still far away, but listen closely. You are not broken. You are rising. This isn't your ending. This is the part where you stop giving away your worth and start protecting it like the crown it truly is. Because you, beautiful woman, were never meant to be taken for granted. You were meant to be cherished, deeply, entirely, endlessly. And now you live like the prize you are. Write this in the comments and claim it. He works now for what he once took for granted. Say it, believe it, and let him feel the shift in your silence. We are working with everything we have to bring you the truth, the fire, and the lessons that help you rise, because your reign is only just beginning. Number 4. Her silence screams louder than 1,000 goodbyes. He didn't expect her silence to feel like this. He thought the quiet meant it was over, that she had nothing left to say. But what he didn't know is that silence, real, calm, complete silence, is not weakness. It's power. And when it comes from a woman who once gave him everything, it doesn't fade. It echoes. At first he felt free. He thought she would beg, that she would cry, that she would try to fix what he broke. But she didn't. She didn't chase. She didn't explain. She didn't fight for space in a heart that didn't fight to keep her. She just got quiet. And that quiet? That is the sound he'll remember forever. There's a saying, a lion doesn't roar when it walks away. It just walks. That's what she did. She left without shouting, without slamming doors, without tearing herself down in the process. And now, he's haunted, not by what she said, but by everything she didn't say. An emotionally mature woman doesn't argue to be understood. She doesn't repeat herself, hoping he'll finally hear. When love becomes one-sided, she doesn't cling, she lets go. And that kind of silence wraps around his heart like a storm in slow motion. It doesn't destroy, it lingers, it stays. Think of a song he once loved but can't play anymore because every note reminds him of her. That's what her silence becomes. Not just a quiet room, but a loud reminder of what used to be there and what he threw away. Right now, maybe you're in that silence. Maybe you're tired of trying. Maybe you're afraid it means you're giving up. But hear me clearly, it doesn't. Your silence is not surrender. Your silence is your shift, your growth, your boundary, your moment to stop proving and start becoming. And from that moment on, everything changes. You are not the woman who pleads. You are not the woman who shatters. You are the woman who rises. Dear lady, you were not quiet because you were broken. You were quiet because you were done breaking yourself. He expected noise. You gave him grace. And now your absence will be the loudest thing he's ever heard. Write this in the comments and claim it. My silence is louder than his regrets. Queens, if this message reached a place in your heart you've been trying to protect, like this video and subscribe to the channel. We are working hard to bring you the truth, the healing, and the fire you deserve. You were never meant to beg. You were born to reign. Number 5. She believes in him, but never shrinks for him. She does not dim her light to keep his shadows comfortable. She shines, so he has something worth rising toward. Have you ever cared so deeply for a man that you started making yourself smaller just to make him feel bigger? Have you ever held back your voice, your dreams, your light, because you didn't want to intimidate him? That's what many women are taught to do, shrink in the name of love. But real love doesn't ask for that. A woman who is emotionally mature knows this. She may believe in him with all her heart, but she will never abandon herself just to be loved by him, because here's the truth. He doesn't need her to play small. He needs her to be whole. And if he doesn't rise with her, then he was never ready to stand beside her in the first place. Marcus Aurelius once said, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one." And she lives that truth. She doesn't try to convince him to grow. She leads by example. She walks in her purpose. She stays grounded in her worth. She shows him through action what love built on strength truly looks like. Think of the sun. The sun does not apologize for shining too brightly. It doesn't turn itself down so the moon can feel more confident. It shines because it was created to do so, and the world adjusts to its brilliance. That's who she is. She loves him, yes. She believes in what he can become, but she will not slow her rise to match a man who's afraid of heights. In relationships, many women give up pieces of themselves to keep the peace. But the emotionally mature woman understands. Love should never cost you you. He may not say it out loud, but deep down, he is drawn to her because she stays true to herself, because she walks tall, because she expects more, not only from him, but from herself. Maybe right now, you've been holding back. Maybe you've been waiting for him to grow while forgetting how much you've already grown. But that ends now. Beautiful woman, you are not here to shrink. You are here to rise. You can believe in him and still choose yourself first. That is what makes you unforgettable. That is what captures his soul. Write this in the comments and claim it. I rise without shrinking. Queens, let this be your reminder. You were not made to be small. You were made to lead, to shine, to reign. We are working hard to bring you powerful, life-changing lessons to help you love stronger, heal deeper, and live as the queen you were always meant to be. Number 6. She doesn't compete. She walks away like the crown was always hers. He thought you would fight for him. He thought you would lower your voice, your light, your worth, just to prove you deserved to stay. He believed that if he gave his attention to her, you would react, compare, try harder. But what he didn't expect was silence, grace, power. What he didn't see coming was the moment you stood up and walked away, like you were never in the race to begin with, because you were not born to compete. You were never meant to beg for love that already knew your name. The truth is, the moment a woman becomes emotionally mature, she no longer tries to be chosen. She realizes she is the one who chooses, and when she walks like the crown was always hers. Rumi once said, "Don't get lost in your pain. Know that one day your pain will become your cure." That is the shift. The heartbreak didn't destroy you. It revealed your royalty. It reminded you that love is not a prize you chase. It is a reflection of who you are. And if he can't see that, he is not your mirror. He is not your match. Think of a lioness. She does not roar for attention. She does not fight to be seen. She walks with calm power, and the whole jungle watches in silence. That is you now. The woman who does not beg. The woman who does not shrink. The woman who looks at his games and walks away, because no king worth having makes his queen compete for his loyalty. He expected your tears. He expected jealousy. He expected you to wait around while he figured it out, but instead, he will be left remembering the moment you didn't say a word, the moment you stepped back without turning around. And when the noise fades, when the newness wears off, when he looks around and realizes nothing compares to you, he will understand. He didn't lose just a woman. He lost a woman who carried her worth in silence, who walked like she already wore the crown. Dear woman, you are not broken. You are awakened. This is not your loss. It is your liberation. The moment you stopped fighting to be seen, you became unforgettable. Write this in the comments and claim it. I don't compete, I reign. We are working with all our heart to bring you life-changing lessons because your crown was never lost. It was just waiting for you to rise. Number 7. She didn't mirror his flaws. She reflected his soul. Have you ever seen a man fall in love with a mirror? Not the kind that shows his smile, but the kind that shows his truth. Not his ego, not his charm, not the surface, but his soul. The part he hides, the part he runs from, the part he's afraid no one will ever accept. That's when she walks in, not to copy him, not to flatter him, not to play along with his patterns, but to see him for who he really is. He didn't expect it. He's used to women who mirror his moods, who feed his pride, who stay silent when he slips. But she looked at him with eyes that said, I see the man you pretend to be and the one you could become. That shook him, because for the first time he didn't feel praised, he felt understood. The great philosopher Epictetus once said, know first who you are, then adorn yourself accordingly. And she lived this truth. She didn't lose herself to please him. She didn't shrink to keep him. She didn't pretend to be smaller so he could feel bigger. She stayed rooted, whole, real. And because of that, he saw the reflection of who he truly was. Good and flawed. That kind of woman doesn't stroke a man's ego. She awakens his soul. Imagine a lake, still, deep, clear. When he looked into her, he didn't see just a pretty face. He saw his wounds, his dreams, his fears, his truth. And that kind of reflection isn't always comfortable, but it's unforgettable. He may walk away, but the image stays with him, because she didn't just echo his words, she heard his silence. She didn't just follow his lead, she asked him to rise. And maybe right now, you're the woman who keeps hiding her light to keep the peace. Maybe you've tried to mirror what he wanted instead of becoming who you are. But lovely woman, that ends now. You were never meant to fit his mold. You were meant to hold up the mirror and remind him who he could be, not by force, not by begging, but by simply standing in your truth. Write this in the comments and claim it. I reflect souls, not flaws. Queens, let this be the reminder. You are not here to play small. You are here to reveal what real love looks like. If this message reached you, if it reminded you of your power, like this video and subscribe to the channel. We are working hard to bring you the lessons, the healing, and the truth you deserve. Because queens like you were born to reign.